What's your lads, welcome to Oak Swamp and part 31 of the Austin 10 special wrap. Firstly, as always, I'd like to welcome all the new subscribers. What's your lads, welcome aboard, and I'd like to thank everyone who left a like and comment last week. Nice one, keep them coming. Also, massive thanks to everyone who visited the tip jar. Brilliant lads, you're super generous. My main objective this week is to get Ian wired and plumbed, get him up to temperature and see if I can get him idling. There's also some other odds and sods that I want to tackle, so let's get on with it. Well, I'm going to crack on with Ian for a bit, so what I'm going to do is fit the alternator. I'm going to cut all the hoses, I'm going to fill it up with water, I'm going to do a little bit of wiring just so I can turn the fan on if I need to, and I'll put it on the proper switch to start. And I'm going to run Ian up, and I'm going to put the old colour tune on him, give him a tune up and see if we can't get him ticking over nicely. And if that don't give me an incentive to get on with it, I don't know what will. So I'm going to put the alternator about here. When I'm out of the engine I moved it over to get a bit more pedal room for the driver. So that's why it fits better on the driver's side. And you see, it'll keep it dry behind the radiator if you get a day like today. Better do it, ain't I? And the rain came down. Right, the first piece I'm going to use for this is these two old shock absorber mounts. They come off the Austin or the Morris or something, but I'm not going to be using them again. But when you put them together, you get a nice little bracket there, look, and it's just bang on. So what I'm going to do is lop this off here, and that'll be the top half of the bracket, because I think it looks right and it looks factory and saves me trying to make that. Okay, so this is what I've done. I've cut this out and bent it round. Now the idea is to take these off of here, but they're really quite close to this edge, so I think with this bending, in 4mm as well, it's not going to move anywhere. Got that bit of steel in there, just to get me plumb. But leave me out in the cold. I need a There it is in its roughness. I'm going to just trim it up and make it look a little bit more as though it grew there. Right, you can see the difference between a normal Lucas alternator and the one I bought. It's so much smaller, and that's what we want. Well, I'm 32 years old, didn't think I'd get out the road. Let's go outside here, come on now. Okay, so I've ended up moving this further down because the alternator wasn't sitting up straight enough. So now I'm going to do an additional bracket that comes down and sits onto there, and that'll just hold it solid. No explanation why there ain't no signs of remote. No explanations why there ain't no signs of remote. I'm just 32 years old. Right, so here you go. I've got the bit at the bottom there which is holding the bottom, and this piece goes up to there. I made another piece here which is flat and then goes onto that head bolt. that will secure this up there, but what I need is a curved one of these, and then I can probably put it lower. It'll probably go down here somewhere, but I shall see when I get there. So I'm stopping there. Right, the song you just heard was from our friend Mr. Jim Hammond, and that was one of his own compositions. Now you might remember him from last week, and if you do, you might remember the CD we're going to give away. Now the competition was, how much do all these aluminium discs weigh? 266.57 grams. And the winner is Signal Lies with 263.2 grams. Now if that's you, send me an email to oakswamprats@gmail.com. Send me your details and I'll get this CD sent right over. Thanks everyone for taking part on that. Now if you still want a Jim Hammond CD, which I wouldn't blame you if you did, go down to the link in the description and you'll find Jim there, and he's got about 4 or 5 different CDs, so you've got a good bit of choice there. Okay, this radiator grill, I'm going to finish off putting this on. I wanted to save it until I got the fan in, just to make sure it fitted and all that, but it seems alright. I've got to weld a piece across here, and then I'm going to wire this all the way round, because all the rad and that comes out the backside anyway, so yeah, I reckon that'll do it.
Cocaine. Cocaine. Nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. 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 Cocaine.
Right, this radiator cap, what I've done is cut a bolt off and put it in there, but I'm going to weld it in there and that'll just pinch it down. It's never going to have to come off. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is put the radiator on and connect all the hoses.
I gotta go on a hound dog too. The girl don't let me, but the hound dog do. Hit that girl on the side of the head. Baked like biscuits, sweet cornbread.
We got the bypass one there, which I'm assuming is going to there. Then you got 2 here, which must go in and out of there, I suppose. Water heater manifold. I learned about the water heater manifold the other day, and apparently the reason they heat them is, as the fuel passes through the jet, it tends to freeze up because it's being forced through a little hole and lots of air, so you warm her up, and that's why it's better.
Well, nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. Nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. Whoa, nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. Oh, nicotine, Valium, Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. Cocaine.
So I'm going to have to make that one look a bit prettier, but I'll come back to that. Now I've got to do these little inch hoses. Right, let's start motor solenoid. I'm going to bung in here because he's nice and close to the battery and nice and close to the starter motor. Right, this is going to live in here. Right, so I'm just making up temporary wires. I'm going to be using solder fittings when I wire this properly, but this will do for the minute. Just to get him running. Onto the tip jar, and a parcel's arrived, and this comes from you guys. I can't wait to open it. So the people who kindly donated last week are Liam Street, Roger Davis, Peter Spielman, Michael Everson, Chris Blades, aka Rangy Man, Lance Newman, Roger Smith and Colin Hope. Thanks a lot guys, really appreciate it. Apparently I got to do this teasingly. Right. Can you guess what it is yet? Let's plug him in and see if he really is super silent. Oh my god. Now that really is super silent. Now there you go. How pleased am I with that? And it's down to you guys. Cheers dudes. Now you might be wondering why I bought a compressor when there's loads of stuff I could have bought. Well, the truth of the matter is I'm going to drag myself into the 21st century and buy myself a plasma cutter. It's time. If you too want to contribute to the channel, go over to my homepage. Just above subscribe you'll see tip jar. Hit on there, it'll take you over to PayPal, and if you can afford it, bung me a couple of quid and it'd be greatly appreciated. Right, so I'm back up at Wayne's and we're going to attack the rocker cover.
I'll be doing it.
So Ian's rocker cover is one of the old tin pressings, and I want to cast this in aluminium. So I went down the casting guy's place, and what he wants is this just thickened up, obviously, because you can't cast like 1 mil. It wouldn't be strong enough. So my original plan was to cover this in like MDF and then make a thin cover out of that. But talking to Wayne, what did you suggest, Wayne?
We'll just make a wooden one. A wooden pattern plug. I don't know.
Dye?
Dye, is it?
Yeah,
dye,
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we'll just make a copy of that in wood. I think first off we can use the MDF to make a pattern of the base of it so that I can follow that with a router.
My thought on this was to make this about 15-20 mil thick, especially the top, because the thickness at the top, as long as the inside dimensions are the same, we can make it as thick as we like really. But I figure to the edge of there would be, what do you plan, routing the top or sticking bits on?
No, I think we just route some grooves into it, I think. Yeah, you normally see me in 2 glasses, but today I have my flip down lenses.
Double glasses in one?
Yeah, oh, I can still put glasses on top of these for
Walk for miles up a mountain top. Didn't know to jump or no. Devil said, come on, son Joe. Got your soul if it's not too much.
I like that sounder. I like the way it goes up and down. Dual action, isn't it?
oscillating.
Oscillating.
Listen, Mr. Satan, I'm about to need your helping hand. Well, I wanna fly, well, I'll catch a passing cloud. Oh, yeah.
Bang on, man. MDF, MDF.
Where the sky burn red with the blood of fire. Yeah, the world exploded inside my mind. 'cause you said I've gone for you. Oh,
So we need to round over the top. So we've
Yeah.
got a rounded edge.
Nice round edge all the way round would be
Let's do
lovely.
that now.
I'm getting excited, Wayne. Look at this. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sharp edges transfer bad energy. They don't like it. Stress. If you've got any sharp edges on anything, engines or anything, it's a stress point. We're going to have 12mm fins on there and they're going to go something coming up and these are going to look so cool, man. Hoovy.
with a tambourine, with a blood of fire. Yeah, the world exploded inside my mind. When the devil said with Jesus in his eyes, said I'm gonna
Scary.
live surprise.
So we don't fuck it up.
Jesus said to me, yeah, oh son, you dumb and wrong. I said, I've been enjoying myself with you. Brother, devil's soul.
Tea time, I think, Wayne, isn't it?
Tea time, yeah.
Well, we nearly got there, mate. There's it so far. Obviously, this has got to be sanded, but look at that. Sanded up, but the other two through the middle snapped off a good one.
Yeah.
So,
We're going to glue some of these in.
I'm going to come up with something funky, but that'll be the idea. Thank you for letting me nick all your time, Wayne, this afternoon.
That's all right.
You're a bloody gentleman, man. I really appreciate
Shame
it.
it didn't work as well as
It
you
did
hoped.
work. It worked as well by far because, you know, look at that. Looks mint, man. I can play around with this now. You know, it's in my capabilities to...
Mess around with it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, just quickly before we go on, there's a channel I've been watching on YouTube which might interest you. Now, these boys are down in New Zealand and they're chopping up Model A's, Model B's and old British tin and all sorts of things. And they also do dirt drags. And the channel's called The Old Para Cow Store. I think you'll like it. It's all backyard stuff and they're having a bit of a laugh while they're doing it. So if you get a chance, pop over and see him and say hello from me. Right, anyway, let's get on with it. Right, I've come home and just sat him on there. And look at that. By the time that's finned up, it really takes your thought of it being a Reliant. It looks completely different. It's quite tight. But that's with that one on. That's the original one. I think it's going to look super cool and handy. And by the time I finish those fins, nice one. Right, next thing is this coil. Now, what I'm going to do is mount the pump.
Black Billy Brown, he's a mean old man. Black Billy Brown, he's a mean old man. Take my advice, you best avoid him if you can. 'Cause he's a mean man. Goddamn mean man. He's a mean man. He lives all alone in a rusty old shack. Lives all alone in a rusty old shack. Hound dog on the front porch. His wife is buried in the bag.
Right, so I'm going to drill some holes in this now, because that was the whole idea. I wanted it to be aluminium and sort of matching with the battery box. So I'm going to flatten that out again a bit, and then drill a few holes in it, starting with one in there.
'Cause he's the meanest motherfucker you meet in your life. And he's fast with his gun and even faster with his knife.
holy. Let's clean it up. Right, well there you go, that's super light. This literally weighs nothing. And you might think it a bit futile, you know, just that little tiny bit of weight saving, but I'm only practicing because I'm hatching a plan to build a car at 250 kilos. But that'd be later on. Got lots of other projects in front of that. There you go, let's try it on there.
Preacher man come calling just as neat as can be. Preacher man come calling just as neat as can be. Next time I saw that preacher man, he was hanging from a tree. 'Cause he's a mean man. Yeah, he's a mean man.
Right, what I've done, I've used this leather belt and I've put it around the inside and then it returns back, so when I bolt it to the body it's got a bit of a gasket there. There's no rattle, there's no movement, and I'm hoping this will age up quite quickly. I'm thinking about using another belt because I've got this on suede side, but I'm thinking about getting a brown belt because this was black and it didn't look very nice. So there we go. I know it looks a bit pretentious at the moment, but by the time everything's in and all the cables are in, it's going to look good. Always wondered about these coils because these are oil filled to keep them cool. Do you keep them upright, or can you turn them on their side or whatever? But apparently it doesn't really matter because they're sealed, so you can put them anyway. But I think that's the way that one's going. For a ballast resistor, because I want to use one, I'm using this one off Susie's motor. It's the same value I think, but it looks older, and I'm just going to bung that around here somewhere. If you don't know how a ballast resistor works, well, this coil probably runs at 10 volts. So what this does is this takes the volts down to 10 volts. But when you start the car, you run power down to the solenoid. You connect a live between there and the coil. And what that does, that gives it 12 volts just when you're starting it. So that gives it the oomph. And by using a ballast resistor, it preserves the life of the coil a bit longer. Did you get that? Been using this old voltmeter Mick gave me as a bit of a tester. Bang on. Cheers, Mick. So this is a Reliant gasket fit. It's nice, isn't it? Wonder why it was leaking out the front. So I've filled it up with water. Everything's connected. I haven't connected the alternator yet, but the belt arrived and he's on there and he's nice and tight. So I'm going to give him a fire up, see if I can reach temperature. Right, we got some temperature. It's burning all of the oil off the exhaust. Right, but there you go, there's Ian running. He's got an oil leak at the back of the engine, so I'm going to whip him out, but I've got some welding to do down where that exhaust is, so I'll do that then. I'm happy for that. So Greg's turned up.
Hi there.
And he's come on this.
Yeah.
Now, can you work out what it is from behind? I've never seen one of these before, but it is an Aprilia
Moto 6.5 Philly Stark.
Look at that. Look how cool that is. Look at these lines. Look at the exhaust lines. It's mad as you like. Throw your leg over it. It's
Yeah, put your feet flat on the floor.
yeah, my feet are flat on.
Yeah, yeah. And it's very light.
Really nice. Can we start it?
Yeah. It's not noisy.
Well, I'm showing you this because it's a bit more unusual than your average bike. What year is this?
94.
94.
It was one of the very first ones they built. It was designed for city use, really. So hence big long travel suspension, soak up all the potholes in Paris and Milan.
So anyway, while Greg's here, I'm going to show him Ian firing up. You're excited, aren't you, Greg?
I am. I can't wait to hear Ian burst into life.
He sounds sweet, man, doesn't he?
Pretty quiet. Smooth as anything, isn't it? No bite. Bear in mind it's Richard mounted.
Right. Clutch is working. Look at the oil pressure.
What a big cake.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, there is no.
No. That's what it feels like in there, mate. What do you reckon? Scary or not?
Yeah, it's not much smaller than the Morgan. Yeah, that's worrying. Oh, I don't like you. It's lovely.
What do you think?
I think I might need the next size up.
Well, that's the first good step of it.
Brilliant. I mean, it's definitely alive and throbbing. You feel the whole car just pulsing slightly with the engine being rigid mounted.
You wait
It's
till
lovely.
you wait till you're screaming it.
Nothing.
The hook was solid mounted as well.
Really?
Yeah, I solid mount everything. Do you know why? It takes away the rules. It means I can make anything fit anything. That alternator I could have mounted onto the chassis if I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, makes sense.
water all held up. I got a nasty oil leak at the back, which I've had all along. I think it's those little cork gaskets. You look down here, look.
Yeah, around the main bearing side, around.
Yeah, only under pressure it's coming off.
Leak and everything.
But it doesn't matter. I'm going to take him out and then weld up these bits in here then. But he's ready. He's ready for a drive. If only I had my kingpins done.
I used to walk around in that shell. Never know what mood she was in.
Well, that's about it for this week, lads, I'm afraid. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave me a comment. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do. If you're feeling a little bit flush, leave me a couple of quid in the tip jar, and I'll catch you dudes next time. Hang loose.
Yeah, come on now.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why it fits better on there. So that's why it fuck's sake, Andrews. Just the accuracy. Accurate. How do you say it?
Accuracy. No, I don't know.
Accuracy. No, that's not the fucking word. Accuracy. Gotta loosen up, haven't you? I think I want to go and have a lay down now. Right then, baby.
That's smooth as well, isn't it?